Here we're being asked for one of the solutions to the given equation. We have x² plus 2x minus 48 equals 0. So we know it's a quadratic because it has x squared. And a quadratic is in the format of ax squared plus bx plus c. And we see numbers in the b and c spots, which means that we're doing BC factoring. And so for BC factoring, what we need are two numbers that add to the B term and multiply to the C term. So they need to add to 2 and multiply to minus 48. So what kind of numbers multiply to 48? You can figure that out by dividing 48 by every possible number it divides by. So by 1, by 2, by 3, by 4. Doesn't divide by 5. It does divide by 6. And we have all the factors. Next thing you know, we can consider the signs. If they multiply to a negative, that's going to tell us that they have the same signs. That's going to tell us that we have opposite signs, because only a positive and negative would multiply to a negative. And out of those two numbers with opposite signs, they add to a positive, which means that out of those two numbers that are the opposite signs, the bigger number is the positive number. And that's because when you have a positive and a negative number being added together, it's kind of like a tug of war. And if the bigger number is the positive one, then the positive side is going to win the tug of war, which is what happens here because we end up with positive 2. So now we are going to say, okay, we have two numbers with opposite signs. The bigger number is the positive number. They need to add to 2. And which of these combinations of numbers could do that? This one right here could do that. Because if I had, let's say, x plus 8 and x minus 6, positive 8 and negative 6 add to 2, positive 8 times negative 6, multiply to negative 48, and we're in business. Now we have the zero product rule, which is the idea that if these two parentheses multiply together and the answer is 0, that could only happen if one of them actually were 0. So you set them both equal to 0, and you get your two answers that way. So you'll get, by solving this one, minus 8, and by solving this one, you'll get positive 6. And those are your two answers to this question.